we're raised with that mentality that we're gonna grow up and do a labor job.
Yeah, I would say definitely Sling felt right at home in the sense that the culture was just something that I had not ever seen in a flight school.
So any picture that I see of a pilot, any pilot I see is usually a tall, blonde, white man, so.
Bienvenidos a Sling Pilot Academy.
Hey guys, it's Matthew from Sling Pilot Academy. Right now, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, so we got together with some of our Latino students to sit down and answer questions about their experiences at Sling so far, how they got into aviation, and what advice they might have for you on how to get your aviation career started. Enjoy the video.
All right, my name is Javier Correa. I'm working on my private pilot license.
I'm Augusto Eguago and I'm currently working on my PPL.
Hi, my name's Lydia. I'm a student here at Sling Academy and I'm trying to become a pilot, hopefully soon, so.
Hi, my name's Denise. I'm also a student here at Sling. I'm in the academy and I'm training to obviously become an airline pilot, and I'm working on my private license right now. I just started a month ago.
A month ago? Yeah.
I'm from Mexico City, la Ciudad de México, Distrito Federal. I've been living here since I was a baby in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm from Lima, Peru. I lived part of my life in Atlanta, Georgia, and got married, moved to St. George, and me and the wife made the decision to come here to Sling Academy about a couple months ago.
So I am from Guadalajara, Jalisco. Both my parents are from there, and I did move to the U.S. when I turned, 3 days from turning 3 is when I arrived here. And I've lived in LA ever since, and I have gone back and forth. I am an LA girly at heart, but I do love Mexico and I love my culture, and I am proud to be a Latina.
I'm from Pasadena. I was born and raised there. I was also raised in different parts of LA, like Huntington Park and Boyle Heights, where there's a lot of Latinos. And my mom is from El Salvador, my dad is Ecuadorian, so I grew up with two different cultures, and I really learned a lot from both of them, and I'm also very proud to be Latina.
Well, I found Sling online. I decided to go ahead and book a tour, came to visit, and I fell in love. Felt right at home.
Me and my wife were looking for the cheapest things that we could find. We also were looking for recommendations. So the recommendation from Sling online, you really have really high ratings. So that's why I ended up choosing Sling.
Yeah, I would say definitely Sling felt right at home in the sense that the culture was just something that I had not ever seen in a flight school. I did go to a smaller school before, and I would say that the culture here where everybody's working together and willing to help each other out, learn and grow is definitely something that I valued. So that's what brought me here.
So, well, I was trying to apply to other schools and see whether I was going to get into the schools or how I was going to get an answer out of it. And I feel like every time I would call and I would have questions, I would call Sling and they would answer me right away. They would have all the answers and all the process of like applying for it, and everything was easy, and when I came, everybody was friendly. Yeah, that's why we ended up coming here, me and my wife.
My husband joined and he was very happy. He seemed to enjoy it a lot, and I always did want to do piloting, but I was always scared. And just seeing the happiness radiating off of him just inspired me and just gave me that little push I needed to actually do what I wanted. I wanted something that was gonna make me happy. I was not happy in the job I had, in the field that I had chosen. Yeah, I was a culinary cook. I'm technically still working there, but less hours, less time, but I did study as a chef. It's a tough career, and I feel like definitely women are not respected enough in that field. And I just wanted a place that would respect me and my profession, and I would feel welcomed. I'm 25, so I felt like it was too late to just choose something new and start from zero, but so far I have loved it. I feel welcomed, and it's just been a great experience so far. I am happy here.
I went to UCLA, and I studied psychology, which is unrelated to aviation, but I worked at a flight school called Santa Monica Flyers. I was interested in flying like casually. After a while, I started to realize that it was something that I would potentially like to do like full time. And a lot of the instructors, they were my coworkers, so I could just like ask them all the questions that I wanted. And a few of them had taken, I guess, classes at Sling. One of them was an alumni. His name's Colby. I don't know if you guys know him, but yeah, he's great. And he spoke very highly of Sling, and he said that it was the best place to achieve the goal that I wanted to achieve.
Well, my family, I had to ease them into it because flying is something that's kind of one of those careers that seem very unattainable, almost like being a rock star. So when I told them that I wanted to become a pilot, they were kind of shocked. My parents are very traditional. They're expecting me to go a traditional route, but I think pilot is definitely a great career. As I walked them into it, they felt convinced that this is something that was right for me. I would say now that I tell them about my progress and how my flights are going, they're actually really excited, and they tell me, mijo, no, échale ganas, like, to keep going, not to give up. They're actually really excited for what's to come, and when it gets to the point where I will hopefully one day be able to fly them, they're looking forward to that as well.
My mom and dad were like, are there female aviators? Like, are you sure? And I actually had to look up on Google, is there women aviators, because there's so little representation. Definitely had to convince them, especially because I'm so short. They were just like, how are you gonna do that? That is impossible. So it just took kind of a little convincing, but not anything serious.
My mom was extremely supportive when I told her that I wanted to become a pilot. When I told her that I didn't want to go into psychology like I had previously thought, she didn't make me feel bad about it, and she encouraged me to do the research that I needed to do to achieve my new dream. I call them every day and I update them about the new things that I'm learning, and they don't really understand a lot of the things that I'm saying, but their response is just like supportive and excited. So, and it's hard to translate like aviation terms into Spanish.
It is.
So a lot of the conversation is just trying to find the right word to describe what I was doing, but it's great. They love it.
Yeah, I was like, magnetic deviation. How do I say that in Spanish?
I would say most memorable experience, definitely flying in turbulence and in wind shear. That was pretty crazy. Experiencing that, feeling the plane trying to vector away from me, feel like I'm out of control, but at the same time, going through that experience and feeling like I still have control of the plane, it was just kind of interesting, really cool. Something that really stood out with me from flying.
I think the most memorable experience so far has been my cross-country flights. Just being able to fly yourself in the middle of nowhere, or like you're flying in the middle of, almost close to the coast, in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, I think that has been one of the most amazing experiences.
I've lived here. We practice exactly over where I grew up in San Pedro. But again, the flying, it's beautiful above and everything, but honestly, the people I've met here, to me, has been one of the greatest parts of just joining. I've met people that have the same dream, want to follow the same passions, and are excited to do what I'm doing, and are excited that I'm progressing as well. So it's always nice being around people that are just on the same track as you. So I met Denise, and she's my favorite, and that's one of my most memorable, most favorite things about joining right now.
The flying is great, and like the instruction is amazing, top quality, but I would have to say that the most memorable thing is the people that I've met. I've made a lot of friends, like Lydia, and she's great. I've never had friends that are into aviation or like that want to be pilots, so now I'm surrounded by a bajillion people who have the same goal as me and are just as motivated as me. And it's great to be in an environment like this.
No discrimination of any kind. I feel like aviation is very tight unit group where everybody supports each other, and even how dangerous it could be. We all have admiration for each other for pursuing this career and fighting on until the end.
Yeah, no discrimination whatsoever. I think we all want to help each other, and we all want to be able to achieve our goals. I don't know, it's like just like being a Sling is like a really big, like neat community where like everybody's gonna be pushing each other to be, what are you working on, what are you doing, what are your goals. Like we all, we're like a family. Yeah, stay pretty close to each other, and we try to help each other as much as possible.
I was so scared to come here and be the only girl or be the only Latina.
Me too.
And be,
Oh my
no,
God, I
it's
was
just,
scared.
I was terrified my first day in orientation, and I walk in and there's just people of lots of different places, just girls everywhere, and
I was so happy when I saw
yeah,
you.
I know, I was so excited. I was just like, oh, yes. But definitely, especially here in Sling, it has been so wholesome. It's been a wholesome experience. I have not felt any discrimination. I have not felt that my gender or my ethnicity or even my height has held me back, because I am 5'1", I'm pretty short, but none of these things have held me back, and I was fully prepared to fight tooth and nail for what I wanted, but it's just been an easy climb.
I haven't experienced
No.
any discrimination for like the way I look or my gender or my background. Everyone's been super welcoming, and yeah, I feel completely comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially at Sling, like there's so many different people, so it's not at all what I expected it to be. So
We're raised with that mentality that we're gonna grow up and do a labor job. I do think we never see ourselves in that position, but it does seem like a white man's dream. Like as a female, as a minority, it just definitely seemed, I don't see any representation. So any picture that I see of a pilot, any pilot I see is usually a tall, blonde, white man, so.
Well, I hang out with a lot of Hispanic people, especially Jesse, the dispatcher. Me and him were like pretty close. I try to, anybody who's Hispanic, I don't know, it's just easier for me to talk to them. So, yeah, but yeah.
I'd say the community overall is very, very welcoming. I've met not only a lot of Latinos, but also a lot of different other backgrounds and cultures. So I would say that it feels very tight, like a family here. So I love it. It's my favorite place to be at.
Okay, honestly, no. I grew up in LA my entire life, so there is definitely pockets of large populations of Hispanics, ranging from Mexican, Salvadorian, Honduras, Ecuadorians, and I fully expected there to be such a large population in Sling, or at least in aviation, and so far I have not really met a lot of people. I know just two other people, so.
yeah, I got really excited when I saw like a few Latinos, because when I was not the first person, but one of the first people here for orientation, and I didn't see many Latinos, and that made me very sad. But they started trickling in, and then like in my first couple of weeks here, I started to like see some instructors that were Hispanic, and it just made me really happy to see them. I don't know why. I think it's because like a sense of familiarity.
Yeah.
People who I could probably relate to. I've tried to reach out to the people that I have noticed that are Hispanic or like Latino, and I've formed friendships with them in hopes of like because I feel like there isn't really a community here for Latinos.
Space, yeah.
Yeah, but I want there to be, and I think there can be. Like there's more than what I expected, but there's still not enough. And I think that's because, like you were saying, we aren't really encouraged to become like pilots. Like I don't know where I think I liked Star Wars, and that is why I wanted to become a pilot, but it was never something that was like introduced to me. I think more outreach should be done to Latino communities, and
For
I'm
sure.
not sure how, but I think that if you show people
Representation. I
yeah.
feel like there is a lack of representation in media and just in general of Hispanics in aviation.
I think if you show people, like Hispanic people, that they can,
Yeah.
like this is a possibility and it's achievable,
Yeah.
they will be more than happy to explore it as an option.
Oh, it's just like a moment to reflect and to be proud of like where we came from and how and what we're doing here. You know, like we're here to represent our culture and represent who we are. We are Hispanics, and I think this is a good place to represent ourselves, like being a pilots. And
Couldn't be better said.
I don't know. I've never paid attention to like Heritage Month, but September is a big month, at least for me in Mexico, because it is the Mexican independence. We do El Grito Nacional, and I know you're, I look at you, but September is a big month in Mexico, and sometimes it does hit home that I can't be there, or my parents are not able to celebrate their culture in their land, and they'll do it back home, Viva Mexico, every time in September, and it's just sweet and beautiful. It's just a big month for us. It's big, and I really wanted to go this year, but I was here in Sling Academy, and I'm doing something to represent my community, so.
I don't have a profound
You're
answer.
good.
So my first flight was with Aeromexico. I remember it pretty well I've been flying with Aeromexico since I was a newborn, but I remember the first time that I was conscious was when I was around 6 years old. And that's something that stuck with me, that I would like to fly with Aeromexico one day. That is my ultimate dream. Just living the legacy and fulfilling that promise to my parents.
Finish my check ride and start working my IFR and eventually work on my way to be a CFI. I think those are my goals right now. Eventually, optimistic, futuristic goal would be to be a pilot for airline here in America.
We had talked about it because everybody has such big dreams and goals and become a huge airline pilot and choose which airlines they want to go to. And honestly, I just wanted to be happy in my field. And it could seem big and it can seem small, but so far I've been very happy, and that's all I really wanted. I do want to work in an airline for the money, but I wanted to be happy waking up and doing what it is I'm gonna do that day, so.
I was just gonna say I want to be an airline pilot. A lot of people have like dreams of like flying like the big planes, but I would be happy just flying anything. Like any job I can get that requires flying is good enough for me as long as I'm in the air.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. You don't wake up in the morning and go, God, I gotta be in a computer typing every day. I get to go up in the air and just beautiful sights. Sometimes you'll get a flight right at sunset and it's just drop dead gorgeous. So
the fact that I could be at an airport and that's like my job, like the pay is just like a bonus.
A bonus,
I'm
yeah.
just happy to be there. So, yeah.
No, I'm doing it for the money, straight for that cash.
I'll say definitely getting more proficient with the ground. Studying for ground really is no fun. It sucks.
I actually like studying the ground part of it. I think the most challenging thing for me has been the communications beyond the radio. Yeah, that has been the hardest thing for me. Like just be able to be confident enough to be talking to ATC.
I think the hardest thing was actually convincing myself I could do it. I think one of the biggest things that holds, at least for me, that holds me back is I'm scared, or I have that self-doubt that am I really meant to be here? Do I belong here? And so far, I've been proven wrong every time. It's such a welcoming community here, and like that self-doubt is always squandered. To me, that's been the hardest thing to overcome. So
I thought that our ground lessons and our flying lessons would be connected, but they are not. It turns out that I'm learning something different in the air and in the ground. And it's hard to balance two of them, but I've been getting into the groove of it these past couple of weeks, and I think I'll improve in the future. I went to college and I got really good grades, but I don't know why my study habits were like not compatible with the stuff that I'm learning here, and I had to find a whole different way of learning like aviation stuff compared to like psychology, which is what I was studying. So I had to like reformulate a whole different method of learning.
I'm a huge procrastinator, and I slack, and at school I would just go home and take a nap. And here I actually have to review my notes, do flashcards, talk to people, and connect that to what I am doing, because sometimes you'll learn something and you'll go up there and your mind will just go blank, and it's just
Yeah.
you just have to keep calm and just try to think back on what you learned. Yeah.
And you can't cheat. Like,
yeah, there's no way to
cheating
cheating,
is
and
so
I was
easy in
just
college,
Yeah,
but
for
here,
sure.
like, I can't, like, if I didn't
I can't
study,
cheat up in the plane. Yeah.
yeah, it's very obvious that I didn't prepare.
Yeah.
So if I were to give advice to anybody looking to pursue aviation, it's definitely step ahead into the ground school. Go on the FAA website, get the PHAC, the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, and just start reading that. It's free. Definitely something that I highly recommend. Wish I did that as well.
Start practicing and start listening to ATC radio. I would say that's one of the things. I think that I could have done that a long time ago. And don't be hesitant of like choosing school. I think the Sling is the best school. It's the cheapest school. It's the best school. There's ground classes. There's so much things that are available for you to take here and be ahead of the game. So yeah, don't wait. Just do it.
Just go for it.
It's an amazing thing, aviation, flying. Even if you don't want to do it professionally, it's something that you can have in your back pocket and just be like, look, dude, I got it. Latinos hold such a high respect for pilots, at least in my community. Follow your dreams. I know that sounds cheesy, but
Like, look up places around you. Yeah, like aviation near me, and then like click on a bunch of websites, a bunch of links. The way that I got into it, I was in college and someone started an aviation club. His name was Vedant. I'm so grateful for him because he flew out of Santa Monica Flyers, and he told me that they had a job, that they were looking for someone to do dispatch and like front desk, and no experience was required. And I didn't know how to get into aviation, but I knew that working there would probably be a step in the right direction. And even though I wasn't gonna be flying, I was still gonna be like exposed to aviation and like surrounded by people who knew what I wanted to learn. So that's what I did, and then that's how I got here. Getting started is like the hardest step, and once you do like get started, you'll eventually find your way into what you might
Yeah.
want to do.
don't let those stereotypes hold you back. Even if you have to carve your way in, it's a great place to be. Don't let that fear and self-doubt hold you back.
Thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and we really appreciate it. If you like this content, go check out some of our other videos too.
Paul wanted me to ask you how you felt about Taco Bell.
If I ever constipated, I need to. Taco Bell is definitely a place to. It's something I would eat right away.
Taco Bell smacks every now and then, it's fire. So I will say, it grew on to me. I used to not like it.